Hello everyone. In my previous video on drama, I have talked about the definition of tragedy as given by Aristotle. Now in this video, I will be talking on the topic plot. It is one of the parts of tragedy that Aristotle had identified, the other parts being character, thought, diction, melody, and spectacle. So there are six parts of a tragedy. The first one is, of course, plot, second is character, then thought, then diction, melody, and spectacle. These six parts are in order of importance. So, plot is the most important part of a tragedy. Before going detail into what is plot, I must tell you the story of Oedipus Rex, which was a tragedy written by Sophocles, the great Greek tragedy writer. So the story goes like this: Oedipus was the son of Laius, king of Thebes and Jocasta. Laius had brought a curse upon his family and was informed by an oracle that he must perish at his son's hands, and consequently ordered the destruction of the child. Oedipus was exposed, hung to a tree by a twig passed through his feet. That's why his name becomes Solen Foot or Oedipus, but was rescued by a shepherd. In ignorance of his parentage, Oedipus later slew Laius, his father, and having solved the riddle of the Sphinx, obtained Jocasta, his mother, for his wife. So ultimately, he kills his father and marries his mother Jocasta, and Jocasta becomes the wife of Oedipus. And in that marriage, by that marriage, he had two sons, Polynices and Eteocles, and two daughters also, Ismene and Antigone. Then, having discovered the facts of his parentage, Oedipus, in horror at his crimes, put out his own eyes, while Jocasta hanged herself. Then Oedipus retires, and after led by his daughter Antigone to Colonus in Attica, where he dies ultimately. So this is the short story of Oedipus Rex. Now it will be easier for me to explain by taking examples from this story. So, soul of a tragedy is plot. Plot is called by Aristotle as the soul of a tragedy because it is the most important thing or most important part of a tragedy. Without plot, a tragedy is not possible. A tragedy, even if we remove the other important characteristics or parts of a tragedy, such as character, diction, melody, spectacles, but if we keep the plot intact, a tragedy is possible. But if we remove the plot or disturb the plot and keep intact the parts such as character, thought, diction, melody, and spectacle, then the tragedy is not possible according to Aristotle. So there must be unity of plot or unity of action. We always talk about three unities of classical rules. Actually, Aristotle focused on only unity of plot or unity of action. The unity of time and unity of place came from the French dramatists actually. What is unity of action or unity of plot? There should not be any subplot. There must be one plot and one chain of events, and it should be properly sequenced or properly arranged. It should not look artificial, and episodic plots must be avoided, because if there is episodic plot, the connection between events or action will be broken. And in an organic plot, there should be element of surprise. Otherwise, if everything is obvious, there will be no interest in a tragedy. There must be element of surprise. And lastly, length should be of a certain length. The length should be of certain length that it should not be too short, neither it should be too short nor it should be too long. It must be short enough to be grasped and easily remembered as a whole, and it must be long enough to allow for the necessary change of fortune in accordance with what is probable or inevitable. So it should neither be too short nor should be too long. Now let's come to types of plot. Aristotle had identified two types of plot. First one is simple plot, and the second one is complex plot. Simple plot is the one where there is change of fortune without any reversal or recognition. And what is reversal and recognition, I will be explaining in a minute. And the next type of plot is complex plot. A complex plot is one where the change of fortune takes place through reversal and recognition. And complex plot is further divided into complex fatal and complex fortunate. Now, what is reversal or peripeteia, as the Greek term is? It is a change by which the action veers round to its opposite. See, for example, in Oedipus Rex, when King Oedipus was living happily, then the messenger arrives in his court and tells him about his actual parentage. So the arrival of the messenger is a reversal. It reverses the fortune of the king's life. So this is an example of reversal. Now what is recognition? Recognition is change from ignorance to knowledge. See that example again. After the arrival of the messenger, King Oedipus comes to know about his parentage. He realizes that he had killed his father and married his mother and produced four children from his mother by marrying her as wife. So first the arrival of the messenger is reversal, and his gaining knowledge about his true self is the recognition or anagnosis. So both of them takes place in the same event. The arrival of, if the arrival of the messenger is reversal, and Oedipus's knowing about his self is the recognition. That's how the fortune changes. The chain of event from happiness changes from happiness to unhappiness. Now let's come to complex fatal plot and complex fortunate plot. In complex fatal plot, the fortune or the action changes towards misfortune. It suddenly veers round in the direction of misfortune. Then it will be fatal plot. You see this example, Oedipus Rex. Before that event of the arriving of the messenger, King Oedipus was living happily, but after the reversal and recognition, the chain of events suddenly changes. He takes out his own eyes, and the mother Jocasta, or his wife, she kills herself. Then he becomes a beggar. So the fortune changes from happiness to unhappiness. That's why it is a complex fatal plot. And complex fortunate plot, to exemplify, I have mentioned here The Merchant of Venice, written by William Shakespeare. Those who have read this drama might be remembering the court scene, the very famous scene of that drama, which takes place in Act 4, Scene 1, where the lead characters of the drama, such as Antonio, Bassanio, Portia, and Shylock, they come to a court. Previously, what happened? Shylock is a moneylender. He had given some amount of money to Antonio with the condition that if he fails to return the money in a certain time, Shylock will take 1 pound of flesh from his body. Now ultimately what happens? Antonio fails to pay that money within time. Then all of them go to court in order to get justice. Shylock, in front of the Duke, says that since Antonia had failed to keep his promise, Shylock will take 1 pound of flesh from the body of Antonio. Then Antonio's friend Bassanio comes to his rescue. Bassanio says, I am giving you the money. In fact, I will give you more money than Antonio had promised. But Shylock says no. Shylock says, I will take only 1 pound of flesh from the body of Antonio, because Shylock was a Jew and he didn't like Antonio. They had some quarrel in the earlier part of the drama. Now what happens? Duke has no other option, because it was written on the bond paper that Antonio will, if Antonio fails to pay the money, Shylock will take 1 pound of flesh from the body of Antonio. Now what happens? Portia, in the disguise of a lawyer, male lawyer, comes to the court and first requests Shylock to change his decision, to take the money that Bassanio is giving and forgive Antonio. But Shylock is very rigid and he does not change his decision. Then Portia says, okay, you can take 1 pound of flesh from the body of Antonio with one condition, that you have to take only 1 pound of flesh. It should neither be more than 1 pound, neither it should be less than 1 pound, and there should not be a drop of blood. You will have only 1 pound of flesh, but if one drop of blood comes out from the body of Antonio, you will be punished. Then Shylock realizes that he has no other option but to compromise with the decision. But now Antonio and Portia says, no, you have to stick to your decision, whatever you have said. And ultimately Shylock fails to do so, fails in getting what he wanted. Actually, he wanted to get Antonia killed. So what happens? This complex fortunate plot. Here the situation was complicated and it was almost certain that Antonio will die. But because of Portia's common sense, Antonio survives. So the chain of events changes from unhappiness to happiness. This is one example of complex fortunate plot. Now let's come to recognition again, that is anagnorisis. It is a change from ignorance to knowledge. Aristotle had identified 3 types of recognitions: recognition of inanimate things, recognition of events, and recognition of persons. The first two recognition of inanimate things and recognition of events, they actually or generally happens in detective stories. But recognition of persons is necessary for a literary art or especially a tragedy. What is the difference between literary art or literary stories and detective stories? In detective stories, we have one meaning, one truth. There will be no other truths. At the end, every riddles will be resolved and the reader realizes that okay, the things have happened like this and this is the reason. But in literary stories, the truth or the meaning is not one but multiple. So in order to create these complicated multiple meaningful stories, recognition of persons is important. This is one example is Oedipus Rex, where we can see King Oedipus realizes who he is. That is, he realizes his true self. That's why Oedipus Rex has been chosen by Aristotle to exemplify his theories, and it is of course one of the greatest tragedies ever written. Now, so this is the theory of plot as given by Aristotle, and ultimately Aristotle says that both reversal and recognition must look spontaneous. It should not look artificial. The reader should not think that it has been added by the writer forcefully. It should not look obvious, but it should look as a organic part of the story. So thank you very much for listening. If you have any doubt, you can put your doubt in the comment section so that I can reply, or if you have any other query, you can directly reach me at nabarunkhosh5 @gmail.com. Thank you again.